Hey, sports fans, let's do a bit of time traveling, shall we? Just back to late June of this year. The Boston Red Sox have just been swept by the Toronto Blue Jays and sport a woeful record of 32-46. Even more astonishing for this team that had made the playoffs just a year earlier, they are 12-25 at home. The games are excruciating. Runners are routinely left in scoring position, sometimes 12 or 13 in a contest, all left stranded like bearded castaways on tiny cartoon islands. It is so sad. You'd call it a train wreck, except you'll watch a train wreck. And then something happens. They catch fire in July. They sweep the Yankees, and you laugh it off at the time. You forget that a baseball season is a marathon. And while you're diverted watching the World Cup, the Red Sox just keep on winning. 7 games in a row, then 10. Now they're in a series against Baltimore, and you're telling me they're 1 win away from matching the longest winning streak in franchise history? They get that done, and as soccer fades into the background, you look up and see the Red Sox are in position to make the playoffs amid possibly the greatest single-season turnaround in baseball history. I'm here with my NBC5 weekday sports anchor Jack Main and show producer Nathaniel Wilson, and today we're digging into the Boston Red Sox and our favorite sports turnarounds. I've been watching baseball forever. I should know this by now. 162 games. You can't write a team off in June.
I have eaten my words. I was out on this team, but I just love baseball and I love the Sox. I'm back in.
A shortstop comes up named Bucky Bleepin Dent, and we all know what he did.
The greatest quarterback in the history of professional football is on the Patriots sideline, and he is locked in. I don't think any sports memory is going to get better than 28-3 for me.
I want to see this alleged photo of you with the long hair, my friend.
I'll find it.
You find that, and you bring that here.
We can put it, we'll do it in post. We'll put it right here.
Okay, I love that idea. Jack Main, it is great to have you back. It's been a minute, my friend.
It has been. I'm happy to be here. A little self-conscious that I'm not wearing pants like you guys.
That's okay. Just to be clear, you have pants.
Yes,
I want to make sure. For those watching at home, Jack's got his pants on. Give a full shot there.
I've got my shorts on. This is the traditional sports MMJ look. You know, I'm going to be out shooting football practice later this afternoon. I got to be comfortable.
You got to be able to move.
For the heat, exactly.
And you got to look the part. It has been a while since you've been on. And in fact, the last time you were on with us, I guess we have to start with mea culpas from both you and I, because we were trashing the Boston Red Sox, were we not, Jack?
With good reason. With good reason.
Yeah,
I mean, it was a bad team, and it's okay to say that it was a bad team when they were the worst team in the American League. I mean, losing 2 out of 3 to the Rockies, firing Alex Cora, seemingly never-ending, no direction with the way that this team wants to go. We have a direction now, and we have a team that is looking like they are real threats in the American League, not just in their own division, but really as a team that could contend for a championship in October.
But how can this be the same team, Jack? You were telling me you were down at Fenway Park in April around the time the marathon games were being played. What was that team like then?
Oh, my goodness. The whole atmosphere was horrible. First of all, I was at marathons, obviously, on a Monday. I was at the Sunday game beforehand. So if you remember the marathon this year, it was really cold. The Sunday before, it was raining. It's a good marathon crowd, so I won't say that the crowd was bad, but it was just dead energy. Everything felt very blah. Wilson Contreras was performing. That's about the only consistency that we've had since the beginning of the season. But since that point, things have really changed. This is a completely different team. It's got a completely different makeup, made up of completely different cast of characters that you just didn't calculate into the equation when the season started. And it's really what's made this team so special and so much fun to watch.
I just feel so bad about writing them off the way I did, because as I was saying in the open here, you know, baseball is a long season. I've been watching baseball forever. I should know this by now. 162 games. You can't write a team off in June, except that, as you were saying, it's not just that they were bad. I've seen bad Red Sox teams before. These are teams that were getting guys in scoring position, so you're thinking, okay, we're down by a run, but look, there's a guy on second. There's less than 2 outs. We're going to get this guy home. It never happened. Pop out, strike out, little weak grounder, double play balls, inning over and over and over again. There was no reason to watch this team.
I forget the statistic off the top of my head, but if the Red Sox were trailing 2-0. They were like 0-30 or something like that. And that was during that stretch that we talked about from April till basically July.
No come from behind wins from the 8th inning on. They were, I think, 1-31 or maybe even 0-32. It was something like that.
It was something really bad. Like 99 out of 100 teams with track records like that, they go in the direction of the San Francisco Giants or the New York Mets or the Colorado Rockies. Instead, this team has gone the complete opposite direction. They figured out how to win in late game situations. I saw that happen with my own eyes on Saturday night, down 2-0 in the 9th inning to score 3 to walk it off. Yep. That was incredible. And to completely have this change of tone, this change of how this season has gone, you can really pinpoint a number of different things, but it wouldn't complete the entire list of what has this team done really well since the beginning of July and really turned their season around.
Can we geek out on numbers just a little bit here? Because I want people to realize the context of this. There have been plenty of teams in the past that have had slow starts to seasons and turned it around. But if you dig into the research on this, there are only 10 teams in Major League Baseball history that had a 27-3 run, which the Red Sox went on in July. 27 wins, 3 losses. Teams have done that before. But of those teams that had that stretch, right, you can calculate how many games under 500 they were at their lowest point. The 1977 Kansas City Royals were 4 games under 500 before they went on a 27-3 run. The Red Sox, in contrast, and that was the lowest point. The Red Sox were 14 games under 500 before turning this around. Those are the kind of numbers that just baffle the mind.
It's two different teams. It's just 2 different seasons. You can't really quantify what you saw in April and May and June and say that this is the same team. I mean, imagine if the team that we're seeing from July 1st on was the team that we'd been seeing since April on. This would maybe be the best Red Sox team of all time. But instead, they had this really late start, this really late surge to the season. They had to play catch up. They had to win 15 games in a row in order to get to this point. You really don't want that to be the case. If your postseason hopes are hanging on to a double-digit win streak, then that's not really something you want to live by. But hey, it makes for exciting baseball in the middle of summer.
There's no question that it does. And we have to give some props here to our friend Nathaniel Wilson, our show producer, who when you and I were making fun of the Red Sox and saying how bad they were, he said, I know a reverse jinx when I see one, Mitch. And he knew that there was a part of me that was saying, I just want to talk about how bad they are because maybe that will magically turn it around. How did you have me so clocked, Nathaniel?
I don't know. It's just... There's something about Boston sports, I think.
Boston sports fans,
yes,
I think, too.
Yes, I've heard people describe it as like the devil magic of Boston sports. Something that I think is really interesting that I don't think have talked about yet on the show, but that 15-game win streak that the Red Sox went on that you talked about, that started with a win against the Angels on July 3rd, yep. Okay, the start of 15 in a row. The one before that, the last loss before the 15-game win streak, okay, came on July 1st against the Washington Nationals. That was the day that Jaylen Brown was traded off the Boston Celtics.
Gosh. So was there something weird going on there?
I don't want to talk about that. What are we doing here?
That was another one where we got clocked by Nathaniel when he was like, oh, well, we'll be seeing Giannis in a Miami Heat uniform, right? And he turns out to be right about that when you and I were sure that Jaylen Brown, that Giannis was coming to the Celtics.
Every sports show needs the guy who's just right about everything.
We do. And that's why we're so thankful that you're here.
Yeah.
But, Jack, to your point about this Red Sox team, when you said they're 2 different teams, yeah, they are, except they're not. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like you see times teams will make a big turnaround. It's because they traded for a guy or a guy came back from injury or they changed managers. Something magical happened. This is the same team that was playing so badly in June, but guys that weren't hitting like Caleb Durbin, who I will give myself some credit for. I love that trade from the beginning. Now it's looking like I was right about that. He turns it around. He starts hitting the ball, but he was always playing great defense at third.
And what's really impressive about this, and we were talking about it off camera, is how he was struggling at a historic rate, right? He was the worst qualified hitter in baseball during that first 2-month stretch of the season, never took his at-bats into the field, always played gold glove defense at the hot corner, which the Sox have struggled with ever since Devers came up in 2017, about getting a guy that could really anchor that very important position on the infield for them. And he went to an outside hitting coach. He was able to start working with, I think, Aaron Judge's hitting coach. He starts swinging with hockey sticks, and it looks really unorthodox and things like that. But it has turned around into one of the best single season individual turnarounds for a player that I have ever seen for the Red Sox. And it's been really awesome to see a guy like that dislocated his pinky in Colorado, something like that, plays right through it. Most guys need, 2 weeks on the shelf to be able to recover. He's like, no, get me back in there, coach. I am playing. I'm going to continue to play gold glove defense. And oh yeah, I'm going to have a 900 OPS over the next 2-month stretch to get this team back into playoff contention. He has been the exact kind of player that Red Sox fans have fallen in love with, at least in my time, since like Dustin Pedroia. That kind of
so glad you said that name.
Mentality.
That's the guy I was going to bring up. That's who he reminds me of. Because if you remember, Dustin Pedroia, when he first came up as a rookie for the Red Sox, he was not hitting the ball. And a lot of people were saying, what's this guy doing over at second base? He's no good. But he stuck with it. He believed in himself. And like Durbin, he was playing fine defense at second. Then he started turning it around with the bat. He becomes one of the most beloved Red Sox in history.
And he's my favorite player of all time. I wore number 15 because of Dustin Pedroia. I was, I'm short, 5'9" dude, skinny, playing high school baseball. I'm Dustin Pedroia. I don't hit the ball out of the ballpark. I can be that guy. And to have a guy like that embodies not only the successes, but also embraces the struggles and like understands exactly what he needs to do to get himself out of a rut. Caleb Durbin has been the catalyst of this turnaround, because we could talk about guys like Wilson Contreras, all who have been consistent all year long, MVP candidate kind of player. Wilyer Abreu's been there. Cedon Rafaela, first-time All-Star. But you needed the production from third base, a position that has been such a hot topic for this team, especially over the last 2 seasons, to be able to finally just throw all that garbage out and to be able to maintain as one of the top defensive third basemen and come around as one of the better offensive third basemen in the game has been one of the best joys to watch. One
of the things we can, I think, pinpoint this turnaround to, and I want to get to this in a second, is some of these bit players, I guess you could call them. These are not household names. Guys like Anthony Siegler and Nick Sogard and Andrew Monasterio, who are playing astonishingly good baseball, getting clutch hits. But one thing I want to ask you about is that if you really dig into this turnaround and where the Red Sox are now, what's so strange about this, they're at the point of the season now where we kind of expected them to be before the season started, with exactly the same kind of record we predicted they may have. It's just how they got there is so bizarre.
2 totally different paths. They actually have the same record this year that they had at this time last year. And you just think about those 2 seasons. Last year's team, they were able to figure it out a little bit earlier. Remember, they struggled a little bit out of the gate, figured it out. This team, I attribute a lot of the dysfunction in the early part of the season to like more than half the team going to the World Baseball Classic, not having a full spring training. Yeah. And if you look at 2 teams that sent a lot of players to the WBC, the Boston Red Sox were one of them. The Seattle Mariners were another one. Seattle, 1 win away from a World Series last year. Teams that went in 2 completely different directions here in 2026. I mean, the Mariners had that whole Rosarina, Cal Raleigh handshake issue going on, and that seems to have carried over in a big way in that Seattle clubhouse. I love you, Brady Farkas. I know you're out there covering the Seattle beat. Please keep doing what you're doing, because I know you're struggling out there. 2 teams that have gone in completely different directions. The Red Sox identified the struggles that they were having very early in the season. Remember, we had never seen a coaching staff get completely wiped out the way we had seen in April with Alex Cora, Jason Varitek, Kyle Hudson. The entire staff basically kicked out the door to bring in Chad Tracy's guys. Who the heck is Chad Tracy? His dad won NL Manager of the Year in 2009. That's great. That's not you. And that was almost 20 years ago. So how are you going to help a Major League Ball club win? Man, I don't know how he's done it. I don't know how he got the attention of that clubhouse and the buttons he's pushing behind closed doors. But it's working, man. Get rid of that interim tag, because you are here, Chad Tracy, for the remaining days of your baseball managerial career.
Yeah, I think it's pretty clear he's earned the job at this point. But, it's also important to remember that was not an instant turnaround. After that house cleaning that you were talking about, it's not like they all of a sudden just started winning. No, they still went through at least a month or so or more of really bad baseball. And then it's those guys, Andrew Monasterio and Anthony Siegler. Who are these guys? We don't know who they are, but they're hitting the ball and they're getting the clutch hits that they weren't getting beforehand. And it makes you wonder, Trevor Story, an all-star in his career. He's supposed to be the shortstop for the Red Sox for foreseeable future, but he's always hurt. Do you really want him? There's talk about him coming back now. Yeah. Do you really want him coming back when these guys are plugging in so well?
It is such a interesting conversation with the Red Sox. Really, you can look at their top three players should be Roman Anthony, Trevor Story, and Garrett Crochet. Three guys that have basically been non-factors in this season. The Red Sox really remind me of a high school baseball team. I won a state championship with South Burlington in 2018.
Go Wolves.
Go Wolves, baby. And it reminds me of that team, and I can't say the names because they won't really mean anything to anybody other than the people that I went to high school with. But
I'm out there anyway.
All right,
maybe they're
Sammy
watching.
Premsager, Ben Tate, Andrew Cunningham, John Tebow, Connor McGrath. Different day, any one of those guys could have stepped up. And with the Red Sox, it's the same way. Who the heck is Mickey Gasper? Who the heck is Nick Sogard? Who the heck is Andrew Monasterio? These guys that are coming through and carrying the team for stretches of the season that were AAA bats, AAA depth, and really carrying the team in the dog days of summer when most guys are like, man, I just want to get to October, or I want to get home. I want to get to Cancun kind of thing. Those are the guys that have really stepped up in a big way. The kind of teams that win games are the ones with 26-man rosters where everybody contributes. And the Red Sox have a problem right now where they're going to get Roman Anthony, Trevor Story, and Garrett Crochet potentially back this year, but they've got really quality bats right now in their lineup. What do they do with all these guys? Because you feel like you have to play the guys that are making big money, the Crochets, the Anthonys, and the Stories, but you also don't want to mess up what's happening right now, right in front of your face, where Anthony Siegler is playing once every 6 days, but getting big hits in the ninth inning. You can't just take those guys out of the lineup. It messes with the juju of the team. So it's going to be an interesting tightrope for Craig Breslow to walk here as we get into, expanded roster season here and, who are they going to carry as 26 guys into October. But man, I have had so much fun watching this team this summer. And I remember saying on this show, I canceled my NESN 360 subscription.
I remember you saying that too.
I still have it canceled because I love listening to WEEI, Will Fleming, Will Middlebrooks. Those guys carry me through. Great job. They carry me through the summer, and I love listening to baseball on the radio. But it is, I have eaten my words in that sense and saying I was out on this team. I was out on the products that this team was selling, but I just love baseball and I love the Sox. I'm back in.
Well, first of all, I think Nathaniel would agree with me on this one. Don't change what you're doing as far as getting that subscription. Whatever you're doing with your subscriptions, how you're listening, watching games, don't change anything. I'm very much. Are you a believer I sat in this chair and they won, so I have to keep sitting in that chair?
No way.
What do you mean, no way? You're too young. That's why. Old guys like me, we hang on to the superstitions.
I'm superstitious.
I haven't lived enough experience of my own life impacting sports, I guess. I think that's why I'm not into the superstition. It's it's just another way people are trying to insert themselves into it. I like to insert myself into it.
It's not about us.
Yeah. I like to insert myself into it by sitting on the couch and watching.
Oh, he's too mature for such a young lad. I just don't understand it.
I don't get it.
Let me ask you this, Jack, because I think this is kind of important at this point. We've brought folks up to speed to where the Red Sox are now from their terrible start to this season. My question to you is, let's say, because there's still a good month of baseball left here, they haven't even made the playoffs yet. If they started tomorrow, they'd be in. They'd be playing the New York Yankees, which is another conversation. Let's say that they go on a bad run now. Let's say they don't make the playoffs to this point. Do you get mad at that team? Do you call the season a failure? I guess I would call it a failure, but I am at the point now where they have brought me back. I was off the bandwagon. Whatever they do from here on in is okay with me because at least they've got me back interested. They've got me watching, and they're giving me something to watch.
Wow, that's really tough. I have to say yes. That's my knee-jerk reaction is to say yes because we had expectations for this team heading into the season, and no matter how they got there, they're meeting that expectation right now, ignoring the magical run that they went on in the middle of summer. We had expectations for this team to be postseason contenders and to be American League champion contenders. And anything short of that, regardless of the path that they took to get there, was going to be a failure. They obviously are in a position right now where they can win the American League. I mean, I don't think anybody's scared of Tampa Bay when it comes to October. We'll see what happens with the Yankees, and then the rest of the American League is really bad. Actually, let me bring this stat up, but let me table that real quick.
Sure.
Right now, we're sitting here on, what is it, August 25th. The American League is historically bad.
True.
We were talking about the Seattle Mariners just a few moments ago. The Seattle Mariners, 8 games under 500, are 3 games out of a playoff spot.
Right.
That is how bad the American League is this year. Last year, the Houston Astros and Kansas City Royals, who I believe had the same, or no, the Astros and Tigers had that weird tiebreaker situation, right? At 8 games over 500, the Astros missed the postseason last year. So that's how bad the American League is, where you can be so far under 500 and really be a hot week of baseball away from getting into the picture here. So with the Red Sox playing at the level that they're playing at against the rest of the league that isn't very good, they have to consider themselves a team that will be playing deep into October, no matter where they finish in the wild card. It looks like they'll finish probably second. Maybe they get hot. Maybe they sweep the Yankees this weekend and they finish ahead of them in the wild card race.
Which is important because you get home field advantage then in a potential 2 out of 3 wild card series. Very important.
Absolutely. And if you can get past the Yankees, which is going to be the biggest test for them in a 3-game series, man, watch out. They could be playing National League baseball here coming up in late October.
To your point, it's astonishing if you look at the American League. Right now, the 2 wild card spots, first and second, are safely held by the Yankees and Red Sox. After that, I think there are 5, maybe even 6 teams that are all within 2 to 3 games of each other for that third and final wild card
spot. And they're not good teams.
No, Detroit's in there, and they traded the best pitcher on the planet over to Los Angeles.
Right.
Detroit has a shot at it. It's really quite amazing.
It is. So I would say yes. If they don't make the postseason this year with a historically bad American League, absolutely failure of a season. And I'm calling for Craig Breslow's job because it does come back to the team that he put together at the beginning of the year, the chemistry that he built. I don't know what the heck happened with Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer behind closed doors. There's some fan fiction going on with that. I don't think that's true in any sense of the imagination, but there was so much weight put on Roman Anthony's shoulders at the beginning of the season to be a 22-year-old MVP candidate. And I remember sitting in this very seat and saying that, and he has not obviously lived up to those expectations and to that. But it was the team that Breslow put on the field that ultimately would go on this historic run. And then if it were to go south from this point on, that's on him as well.
I want to say a quick thing about Craig Breslow because we have not talked about him extensively here, and he's kind of a fascinating figure. On one hand, I think he's the guy who could sit back and say, oh, so y'all wanted me fired at the beginning of the year. Look what I've done now. I got to give him credit because not only have the Red Sox had this great turnaround, but he did some things at the trade deadline that I liked that were a little bit controversial. I like Adley Rutschman being in that lineup. He's not hitting the way he can, but I think he will. I like Eric Miller coming out of the bullpen, who's been excellent, by the way. And Marcelo Meyer, who you mentioned, going over there, hasn't played a game for the Giants yet because he's been hurt. Yeah. That trade, at least in the short term, looks terrific. I also love the pickup, and it's very under the radar, of a guy named Eli White.
Yeah, former Lake Monster.
Former Lake Monster, thank you, who's got tremendous speed, has been terrific as a pinch hitter, and just helped them win a game just last night, as a matter of fact, against Miami. So he's been great.
Another guy that fits into that high school baseball theme, just a different guy stepping up. He had a humongous hit on Saturday night in the 9th inning, down by 2 runs to cut the lead to 2-1 before the walk-off. Those are all guys that are really important. You need a Quentin Berry-esque player, a Dave Roberts-esque player that comes in the postseason off the bench, guaranteed stolen base, and you really don't have to think twice about it, and also can hold his own in the outfield, right? You don't bring Eli White in to be a hitter in the regular season. Anything you get from him with a stick is a bonus. As far as the Adley Rutschman trade goes, there are a lot of people that were like, wow, the Red Sox overpaid. Who the hell cares? How many trade deadlines have we sat here and been like, what a disappointing trade deadline. They didn't go out and get the guy that they needed. They finally get the guy, and you guys are all bent out of shape that they got rid of 4 pitching prospects. If we know anything about Craig Breslow, it's that he can pick a pitcher out of thin air and turn him into a potential all-star quality starter. I mean, Jake Bennett was a guy that I think the Nationals were just kicking around in the minor leagues, and all of a sudden comes up and he's been one of the best rookie left-handed starters in the league this year. Like, who cares about the pitching prospects that they have? You know what's better than prospect lists?
Proven players.
Parades.
And parades,
are
yes.
better than prospect lists. I'm tired of hearing about the top prospect. And also, by the way, Franklin Arias is still here. That's really important because if Trevor Story looks like he won't be playing very much baseball for the Red Sox in the next 365 days, Franklin Arias, Fenway Frank, that's going to be his nickname. Trademark
I love
that.
You heard it here first, folks.
No, you heard it on Section 10 first. I want to set the record straight there. But I do think that if they didn't get rid of their top fielding prospect, their top position player, they got rid of pitching depth, which they have a plethora of. They've got like 10 pitchers rostered over the next 3 seasons. That includes if next year's a lockout. Getting rid of pitching depth when Craig Breslow can pick guys out of thin air to be quality starters, I don't care. I love that Adley Rutschman's here. I love that he is controlled bat. It's so hard to find good catchers that are major league quality, and you got a top 3 catcher.
And don't forget too, their catchers before that, they still have Connor Wong, and they had Carlos Narvaez. Both of them really struggled a lot at the plate. Wong is a streaky hitter; he can get hot, but neither of those guys has the resume of being a proven MLB hitter like Adley Rutschman does.
You got a number 1 overall pick for guys that weren't number 1 overall picks.
They're prospects. That's exactly. You don't know what's going to happen with the prospects. Some of them might go on to be Cy Young winners, but some of them you may never hear from again.
People make a big stink about how the Dodgers only gave up 1 prospect for Tariq Skubal. Completely different situation, right? Skubal is in a contract year. He's going to be a free agent. Dodgers are using him like he's never going to pitch Major League Baseball ever again now.
I tell you, man.
Guy that's going to be a pending free agent, out of division, going to a contender. The Dodgers don't have to overpay for a guy like that. In division, trading a premium position like a catcher where there's only like 5 that you would take as like really good, like potential Hall of Fame quality guys at that level, you got to overpay in that sense. And Breslow did exactly what we've been asking every general manager to do, going back to Ben Sherrington to make the big splash that can put this team over the edge. You got to overpay in those situations. Breslow did exactly that. I even love the Curtis Mead trade. That's really unlucky in the sense that he breaks his wrist. But I don't think Connolly Early's throwing another pitch in Major League Baseball this year.
Interesting, yes. And we may even see Curtis Mead before things are all said and done, perhaps in the playoffs. But you're right. That's another thing to watch for. All right, so we've talked about the historic turnaround of this season. Where does this fit in great sports single turnaround seasons in history?
It's a great question.
Where does it rank?
I want to start with the man to my right here.
I would need an encyclopedia to answer that one, I think. But we can talk about our favorites maybe and where it falls in. Mitch, I think you should start since you're on theme, right? Let's go through our favorite sports turnarounds ever.
All right. I have to mention, I'm going to mention 2. The first one I'm going to mention is a wonderful memory, okay? And it's not a full season, but I maintain that because of the historic nature of it, this is the greatest turnaround in sports history. 2004 American League Championship Series, Red Sox versus Yankees. The Yankees are up 3-0, and in that Game 3, they had beaten the Red Sox 19-8. You could not walk through the city of Boston without seeing people either crying into their hands or just looking like they were ready to jump off the bridge. It was terrible.
Yeah.
They win 4 straight. They go on to win the World Series. They are still, to this day, the only baseball team in history that has ever come back from a 3-0 deficit to win a playoff. That's the greatest turnaround.
Not only that, but they were trailing in the 9th inning of Game 4, about to be swept against the greatest closer in the history of the sport. So I do agree with that pick. That is a very good pick. Do you have a second one?
I got to mention it, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
1978. The New York Yankees are 14 and a half games behind the Red Sox in the American League East chase. It's August. The Red Sox got this, not a problem. Lo and behold, the Yankees start winning. The Red Sox keep losing. We get to a 1-game playoff as the Yankees catch the Red Sox.
Say the name, isn't he?
And the name, a shortstop comes up named Bucky Bleepin' Dent, and we all know what he did. Caveat to all of this. The reason that Yankees' big comeback doesn't equal what the Red Sox have done this year is that the Red Sox in 1978 handed that to the Yankees for a guy, and I don't like to speak ill of the past, but Don Zimmer, who was the manager of the Red Sox at the time, hated Bill Lee, my favorite Red Sox player of all time.
Vermonter.
Hated him. And a Vermonter hated Lee so much because he was the spaceman, and Zimmer was this straight-laced kind of, guy, and he didn't like Bill's antics. He buried Lee in the bullpen. Not because Lee was hurt, not because he couldn't pitch great. He didn't like him. So he didn't give him any more starts, even when the Yankees kept winning, even when the Red Sox kept losing. And I've talked to Bill Lee about this. If you give Lee 5 more starts during that run, just 5 starts, he wins at least 2 of them. There is no one-game playoff. There is no Bucky Dent. There is none of this nonsense. So, yes, that was a great turnaround by the Yankees, but with a huge asterisk.
I like that. I've met Spaceman a couple of times in various settings. I don't understand how anybody could dislike that guy. What a hoot.
I'm with you, man. He's the best.
What a hoot. Sometimes he's there without his teeth, and he's even more likable, just the kind of guy that just you want to get a beer with. And talk about anything.
Or some other things.
Don Zimmer was old-fashioned before old-fashioned was old-fashioned. Let's be real about that.
Jack, what's your turnaround?
I'm gonna get there right here. Let's change sports.
Sure.
I'm gonna go 28-3.
28 Oh,
2016
okay.
Super Bowl. The backstory to this, obviously, it's not too far in the past, right? 10 years ago, we're talking.
Yeah.
This doesn't happen. This score bug that you're seeing right here. The context behind this is that Tom Brady was suspended for the first 4 games of the season because he allegedly knew that some of the footballs in the AFC Championship game were underinflated 2 years prior. And then the biggest witch hunt in sports history commences where Roger Goodell is out to get the greatest quarterback of all time, right? So Jimmy Garoppolo is coming in to start games for the Patriots. The Patriots have a gauntlet of a first 4 weeks. I believe it was like Arizona, Miami, the Texans, and then they were shut out by the Bills, I believe, on Thursday Night Football.
All good teams at the time, 10 years ago, by the way.
All good teams at the time, right? Brady comes back with 12 games remaining, 16-game season back then.
That's right.
And I think he finished top 2 in MVP that year, which is just incredible after missing the first 4 games. Pissed off, Tom Brady runs through the remaining AFC schedule, gets to the Super Bowl, and now you've got to face the MVP, Matt Ryan, at the Houston NRG Stadium, I believe is where they were playing, and immediately punched in the mouth. Tom Brady throws a pick 6 in Robert coverage. Robert Alford, some guy I've never heard of since then, pick 6 on Tom Brady. Brady's diving on the ground. He's laying there. He's thrown his first pick 6 in Super Bowl history. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm 16 years old. I'm like, this is maybe the worst night of my life. Then Lady Gaga comes on, and I've got to endure the Lady Gaga lore. And I am
not a fan.
I'm not. Well, I can't enjoy it. I'm so locked into the game. Like this year, everyone's like, Jack, are you enjoying Bad Bunny? I'm like, I am so mad that the Patriots are losing right now. They haven't scored a point yet. No, I'm not enjoying this.
A real fan here.
I am locked into what's happening on the field. Screw the riffraff. And then what happens? Atlanta comes out of the locker room, scores another touchdown, and you're thinking, oh my God, it's 28-3, and Steven Gostowski has missed an extra point, and now they've got to score 2 touchdowns and get 2 2-point conversions, all in the span of like 10 minutes.
Can't happen. Doesn't happen.
Can't happen. Except that the greatest quarterback in the history of professional football is on the Patriots sideline, and he is locked in. The way that he fired his guys up in that segment and saying everything's got to be perfect, laser focus, they did it. To do it. And the Edelman catch was absolutely incredible. That was like kind of that magical moment in that drive to tie the game. Man, I don't think any sports memory is going to get better than 28-3 for me, as at least in my youth years.
I think that's an excellent one. I'm going to have a very quick question on this one. Is there an asterisk in that Atlanta also gave the Patriots the opportunity? There was a third down where they made the dumbest decision to throw the ball, and there was a sack, and that allowed the Patriots to get the ball back.
So obviously we talked Matt Ryan MVP that year, but Julio Jones was the star receiver of that Falcons team, and he made a terrific sideline catch where he catches the ball and he toe taps, get 2 feet in bounds. I forget who was in coverage for the Patriots, but you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's the greatest receiver in the game right now, putting the team on his back, and Atlanta's going to go down and win the Super Bowl. All they got to do is run the ball 3 times, kick a field goal, game's out of reach. It's over.
All over. Yep.
Falcons decide to throw and sack, and then another sack, I believe, or a pass for a loss. Got a punt.
Yep.
Give the ball right back to TB12.
No points scored, and now
now you got a chance to go down and tie that game. 2 2-point conversions. I mean, how rare is it to convert those in the first place? And to be able to do that twice in the Super Bowl, the 2 biggest 2-point conversions in NFL history. 28-3.
Yeah.
Best turnaround in sports history.
Nathaniel Wilson, your pick.
Yeah, I'm going to change sports again. And sorry to you guys, I'm going to take us out of the New England region for this one, too.
We can mute his mic for this.
Yeah,
I guess we'll put up with it.
Go with my beloved 2016-17 Miami Heat. We have a team photo here. Jack earlier was naming a bunch of high school baseball players no one knows. I'm about to name a bunch of professional basketball players no one knows.
Go for it. I'll see anything I know.
Wayne Ellington, right?
No idea.
Udonis Haslam's on this team.
I
We
know
had
him.
James Johnson and Tyler Johnson, Johnson & Johnson.
Okay.
Justice Winslow, right? The best player on this team was Goran Dragic. Don't tell me you don't know about the Dragon.
Yes, I do know about the Dragon. Sure.
What's his name? Dion Waiters was on this
exactly.
team.
What's his name?
Wow, you don't remember Dion Waiters?
No,
from
I'm sorry, I do
Syracuse?
not.
Wow. Okay. Well, this team at the halfway point in the season, an NBA season, 82 games. Okay,
Right.
so 80 less than Major League Baseball. At the halfway point in the season, they were 11-30. They had the second worst record in the entire NBA, right? And so there was so much discourse this NBA season. We talked about it a little, right? The tanking of it all. They came out with new rules this year, right? To punish teams from tanking. We're going to give better draft picks to better teams instead of bad teams. It doesn't make sense to me, but
It
whatever.
doesn't really work.
This team, instead of throwing in the towel, put their foot on the gas, right? And they had an exact reversal of their record in the second half of the season. So they went 30-11 in the last 41 games after they started the season 11-30. You had asked earlier, right? Is this Red Sox season a failure if they don't make the playoffs? This Miami Heat team did not make the playoffs. They finished with a record of 41-41. We got another picture. Mike, bring it up for me. It all worked out because they made the draft lottery and they
is that
picked
Bam?
Bam Adebayo as the 14th pick in the draft the year after.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's
so,
astonishing.
Yeah, it was a great season. It's one that I love. I love these guys, right? I really feel like this is probably also where the Heat culture thing gets born. That wasn't really something we talked about in the early D-Wade days or when LeBron was there. That was about guys, you don't know who they are. You don't have to know who they are because they're working harder than you and they're getting it done on the court. This is classic Miami Heat basketball.
You know what I love about that story, Nathaniel, is that yours is the only one where you're like, this was the greatest turnaround, even though it did not result, not just in a championship, but not even making the playoffs. You're
didn't.
looking at the long game, the big picture. I love that. Jack, what do you think about that one? That never would have occurred to me.
That's a good pick, especially because you are able to fall in love with a team that was dog water through the first half of the season, and then turn it around and who are these guys? Type of mentality. That's a really touching story. Congratulations for you guys in the Miami Heat.
Look, that was probably like the last time before this year that the Heat didn't make the playoffs. 'Cause you know how it goes.
It's fair. Eric Spoelstra, a Hall of Famer.
Demon.
Without a doubt.
Was he the coach at the time, by the way?
He was.
Yeah.
He was.
Yeah.
Wow, he's been there a long time.
I think he might be the longest tenured coach in the NBA at this point.
He was a video intern, a video specialist intern when he
Is that
first started
right?
with the Heat, with like Pat Riley. Like he convinced Pat
Oh my
Riley to give him a
gosh.
shot, and he's turned himself into a Hall of Famer.
No, he was the coach in 2010 when they signed Bosch and James. LeBron wanted him out of there. I think Wade also wanted him out of there. And Pat Riley was like, nope, this is my guy.
No, you're getting out of here.
Oh, I hate giving Pat Riley credit for anything, but that was a great decision.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, guys, we have talked a lot about this astonishing Red Sox season. I love your picks for greatest season turnarounds, but I feel like we really buried the lead today on the biggest sports story we have not talked about, and I feel kind of bad. We really should bring it up. Do you mind if I just mention this, get your take on it? I still can't believe this is happening. The sports world is in shock. Erling Haaland, the great football player on the Norwegian team, has cut his hair. His long, flowing Thor locks are now shaved down to just, he looks like an ordinary guy now.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, you run into that guy at a bar in New York City, and you're like,
Go the other way.
Who are you? Who are you? It's where,
That's what I would do.
if he has his golden locks, you're thinking, yeah,
look at that.
That's a football player. That's a star. We were saying potentially that he might be having some hair loss issues with the tight braids that he's been rocking.
Yeah, well, we don't have a photo of with the ponytail, but that was his style, right? We saw it at World Cup. He likes to do like the bun with half his hair in it, and the rest is drooping down when he's running down the field. It's flopping behind him. Looks awesome. He's terrifying, right?
Yeah.
When you're doing like the tight pony every day, you're giving these hairs in the front a real workout, right? I think that's why I had to go. I mentioned before the show, it reminds me of when Jaylen Brown cut his braids a few years ago on the Celtics. And when guys go from like the long hair to the short hair, it looks thin. It's I've done it myself, right? I've gone from the long to the short. The viewers of our show know I'm not afraid of a shaved head, a buzz cut, whatever, I'll do it. But it's tough to go from the long to the short. You got to chill for a little while
Your hair
after
looks
that.
really good right
and
now.
let it fill in. Thank
If
you.
I can add.
Nathaniel has embarrassed me on this program already by taking an old photo of me and showing it next to LeBron James. I want to see this alleged photo of you with the long hair, my friend. Do we have to talk to your girlfriend and get a picture of that?
I'll find it.
You find that, and you
Look,
bring
we
that
can
here.
put it. We'll do it in post. We'll put it right here.
Okay. I love that idea. He's thinking like a producer all the time.
I'll tell you what, I'll even contribute. I've got some crazy long hair pictures. Even from when I started as a pro at NBC5, I've got, hair almost down to my shoulders, and it looked horrible. No beard either. I was a child.
Keep tuning into the Sports Report to see how we all looked like when we had long hair.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what this is all about, right?
I hope he grows it back.
I hope he does too. And, he will, by the way, if he gets off to a slow start to the season, if he's not scoring goals like he used to, believe me, he'll grow that back. It's just like Thor. I like to call him Thor's substitute. It's like Thor said, I'm not going to use a hammer anymore. I'm going to get the bad guys with a tennis racket. There's something about it. It's just it's not hitting home with me. But, we'll see how that goes. I think he was a fine player, and I enjoyed watching him in the World Cup. Guys, it has been fun talking to you. Did it, Jack? When are you going to be back next? I mean, I hope it's not another long mea culpa thing.
This is up to you guys. This is your program, and I'm right over there. Hopefully, we're sticking around for a while, and we can make some more memories over here.
I think we're going to have some big Red Sox games to talk about in the playoffs and beyond. I certainly hope so, and we want you back to talk and bring your passion and knowledge of the sport. So great having you here.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to the Sports Report. If you enjoyed today's show, please subscribe, like, and comment. While you're here, you should check out the great conversation we had about pickleball in Vermont earlier this month. Catch the Sports Report on Vermont Public Radio every Monday at 8:45 a.m., and all of our content is available wherever you get your podcasts. Find out more about the show and how to get in touch with us at vermontpublic.org/sports.